Welcome back to After the Snow, the podcast. I'm your co-host, Dave Mays. Alongside with me, my co-host, Freeway Ricky Ross.
What up, Dave?
What up, Rick?
Man, been having fun, man. Week's been good. Been a long time though, man. I ain't seen you in forever, man.
I know, man. We gotta fix it. I don't know why we ain't been in touch as much as we normally are, but I think we both just been busy. Yeah.
Man, I've been doing so much stuff, man. I went to the Ryan Garcia fight this weekend. Man, it was packed. Good fight. Ryan got a knockout. He beat Fortuna in I guess the fifth round. I missed the knockout though, right? I tell one of my partners, one of the guys I was telling you about, I want to do the evolution of cripping that I'm planning on doing with the evolution of cripping. So he still got that street mentality, jailhouse. He did almost 40 years in prison, went to jail when he was about 18. So I said, man, you want to go to the fight with me? Yeah, I want to go. So I said, okay, I got 2 extra tickets. So I said, you want to come by and get the tickets? He's like, no, I'll just meet you at the arena. So we at the arena, man. They get into the main event. Second round. Hey, man, I'm at the door.
Got there late. You had to go let him in and miss the knockout.
Man, I missed the knockout, man. I missed the knockout. I'm like, oh, man.
Damn.
Don't do me like that. And then, it was crazy, man. But anyway, I had a great time. I met Rolly down there. Rolly is the guy who just fought Tank, who Tank knocked out. I met him. It was just some cool people, just cool people, just, as always coming up, man. And
right. Making your presence felt in the boxing world.
Yes, but that's not what I'm most excited about, man. I'm talking right now to 4 of the top amateurs, man, in the amateur boxing, man. They might sign with me, man.
Yeah.
That is going to be fun, fucking real, man. Your boy is like, right now I'm on cloud 9. One of them is out here with me. He been out here for him and his dad and his mom been out here with me for 4 days. This is like going to, like you hear, I never went on a college scouting tour, like so many other people, you hear about them going. So it's kind of like, like I'm a college and they coming to me and we interviewing each other and we talking about how we gonna cut this deal. But it's so exciting, man, to have the opportunity to work with people so brilliant. One of my things, I was going to Virginia a couple weeks ago, man, and this kid walked up to me and he said, Rick, I know your secret to your success. And I was like, well, what is it? He said, you collect brilliant people. And I was like, damn, I never thought about that. Because I do. I like to be around brilliant people. I like to fuck with them. I like to talk to them. Because I believe that when you talk to those kind of people, that it rubs off on you. You pick up some of the things that they do. But yeah, man, just let you fill you in on all the stuff I've been doing, since we've been talking, that's part of the reason, because they wake me up in the morning and it's 5 dads that I'm talking to. So
okay. Are they all over the country, different spots?
Yes. One Philadelphia, one York, Pennsylvania, one Las Vegas, one Colorado, and I think the little girl is out of, did they say Texas? I'm not sure exactly where she's at. I think it's Texas though.
Okay.
But it's exciting, man.
Good, man. Good. Congratulations. What else you been doing this week? Any other news to report?
I think I got the hedge fund that's gonna give me the money for my marijuana grow. So I might get that done. Still wrestling with the city about giving my dispensary license. I need that, man, so I can start making some real money.
Sure.
I'm had my license for 2 years. They done made me pay. I have to pay every year. You have to pay this extension $5,000 every year, and I'm like, y'all making me pay the money, but y'all won't give me my permit. Let me go to work.
All right.
So, but that's pretty much it, man. That kind of wraps up my week this week.
Okay.
How about you?
I've been pretty much just at home working, man. There's so much going on with the launch of these new shows. I didn't have to do any traveling, but Bill Bellamy's show just launched. He's been doing a lot of publicity and
It's
interviews.
trending the internet today too. You have my girl Lionel on there, and she talking about she had something in her coochie in.
Oh, you saw that? She's hilarious.
That's my girl. I love
She,
Lionel, man.
she's a trip, man. Yeah, that's the new one that just dropped. Bill and Linnell. He's out in New York. He's going up on a Breakfast Club tomorrow. He just did the Steve Harvey Morning Show a couple of days ago. He did the Ebro that you did on Hot 97. They're about to drop that, and so a lot of
Breakbeat
stuff.
kicking ass.
We getting there. Yeah. So hopefully,
Honey Marco going viral, and now Bill, trending the internet, man. Congratulations, man.
Thanks. Just got to keep pushing, man, because I have a lot of ideas, a lot of places that I know we can take this platform, and so I'm just really just working.
And it's well needed.
Yeah.
People need somebody that a platform that's going to be honest and that really looks out for the best of the people. For the best of the people, and that's hard to find.
Yeah, it's encouraging because people are really finally starting to kind of see my vision. I've been talking about this for a few years now, and in my head it's been crystal clear why we need this, but people don't really catch on sometimes until they see it in real life. But that's encouraging to see that people are really saying, "Oh man, I see what you were talking about. I see what you're trying to do at Breakbeat, man. This is amazing. You're going to be huge. This, that, and the other." More people that are doing that. More people reaching out to me. A lot of people that I have relationships with in the past, and when you're not as relevant as you were once in the past, you're not as, not in a position to kind of help people, the way that they think, or would like, to benefit them. Then they don't really, you're not on their radar. But, there's so many people that I had very close relationships with that I did a lot for them and their careers and their businesses. And, so more and more of those people are resurfacing, and that's good because it just, helped me build a network, open up more doors for everything, and the people that are really down with me on this new venture, like yourself and the other folks that are part of the Breakbeat family. So,
well, we struggle. I think, man, you struggle with some of the same things, man. When you have done something so big that it's really hard to top what you've done. You have to really go hard to top what you've done in the past. And I feel the same way. Like my past is always like, out there, and now it's like, the stuff I'm doing now is right here. So
right.
to top that is going to be like, wow,
Right.
So.
But I see us both getting there,
Yeah, no question.
Couple years down the line.
I'm just saying that it ain't gonna be easy for you to do what you've done before.
Right.
You did some incredible shit, and people gotta respect that. They should respect it, but a lot of times we don't, as human beings. It'd be like, what have you done for me lately?
Right.
Right. At the same time, I understand what you did, and I understand how big it was. I got to see the magazine when it was only 2 pages.
Uh-huh.
So
I just feel like my job isn't done. The mission I was on, building the source, and what I felt it could do to help change the world in a better way. I got some part of it done, but a lot that hasn't been done. So I just, feel blessed that I'm in a position now and have an opportunity to kind of pick that ball up, where I left off. And I think now it's going to be Breakbeat. Honestly, I do believe it's going to be way bigger than the source ever was, just because hip hop is so much, bigger now all over the world and all parts of our society. that it's influenced. So yeah, man.
No doubt. And I think you can do it too. That's why I'm here with you.
Appreciate that love.
Yeah, let's get started, man.
So
You ready?
yeah, let's talk about Snowfall. That's what the people want to hear, at least part of it. I guess they enjoy our conversation as well.
Our little fantasies and wish lists and all that, huh?
yeah. So we're talking about we're into season 2. The season came out in 2018, episode 2. So it's only the second one of the season. It's called The Day. Not quite sure. I didn't figure that one out, what The Day was about. But last episode, it ended with kind of a couple of big things. Franklin gets kidnapped by Teddy, who runs him off the road and then, drugs him or whatever and kidnaps him. And then Pedro, Lucia's cousin, who had been on the run since his dad and the rest of his family got wiped out, at his uncle Lucia's dad's funeral. Pedro went on the run for months. He's been missing, and he popped back up at the end of last week. So those are two of the things that I was looking forward to see. Well, what happens here with both of those, and we kind of find out when we get into this episode. First thing,
yeah, interesting, man. I guess we start with the kidnapping, man. That was, to me, as a former drug dealer, was bizarre. Usually, usually when drug dealers want to meet a connection, they pay. You find somebody to know the person, and you say, "Hey, here's $1,000, $10,000. I paid as much as $60,000 to meet somebody. You just pay the money. You say, man, take me over there and introduce them, tell them who I am, and you make the connection. I felt, running into somebody's car, but just the timing of all that, of that being possible. You're gonna run into the car and hurt him enough so you can, get to the car and drug him and then put him in the basement. You know what I'm saying? For we don't know how many hours or days, and then you also have Leon in there too, which we didn't see how Leon got there.
right?
That never was shown, but I just thought it was too Hollywood, for me.
Yeah.
I thought it could have been a lot simpler, a lot more realer. I think people are more interesting, and I know they love this show. The show is one of the top shows on TV, but I think that had they fed the audience more authenticity, is that the correct word?
Authenticity.
Authenticity, yes. If they fed the audience more, I think the audience would be more in tune because people now want to know the real. They're tired of of make believe TV.
Yeah,
and they want some more real stuff. So that was my opinion on that, man. It was just too much for me.
Yeah, Teddy has all kind of skills, these super skills to drug people, knock them out, and all this kind of stuff. He never seemed like that kind of guy, but I guess he does have his CIA background.
He's been through the training.
Right.
And then he's listening to him to find out if they're legit or, if they told on Avi, I guess. I mean, it's so many other ways that you could investigate to find out, especially being a CIA agent. He could have went to the cops, and probably got the whole scoop from if they told.
Right. Right. But yeah, he's kind of scrambling, to find someone to help him distribute this product now because he's got, remember he's on his own and he's got to pick it up now to a bigger level now that the funding, from Congress is gone entirely. And so he's under a lot of pressure to try to figure out. And then Avi gets locked up. We still don't really know what happened or why or anything like that. So yeah, he makes this plan to track down Franklin and feel him out, test him out. They're in the basement. I thought it was kind of cool. You know, Franklin was like, when he sees Leon is there as well, and Leon's telling him, you know, about what happened to him. And then he's kind of like apologizing. Leon, man, sorry, you know, I got us in this situation. And, you know, Leon basically was like, man, you know what I mean? Like, I'm good, man. Don't, you know, it's not your fault. He said something like, you know, I never even thought life could be this good. You know, I guess just from the last few weeks of how much money they've been making, he's all feels, you know, good about that. And like, hey, if this is it for us, this is it. I'm not going to blame you, Franklin. You know.
And I also thought they showed too much courage, you know, being handcuffed in the basement, you know, totally with absolutely no control. You know, I don't think that a person in that situation would be cursing the person out who had all the power and talking shit to him and telling them they're going to kill him and all that. I mean, you know, usually, you know, you're trying to figure a way out of that shit and not antagonize
Right.
the person who has all the power, you know,
Right.
and both of them seem to be really antagonistic toward the guy, you know, cursing him out and, you know, literally just talking trash to him. Um,
Yeah.
I see a person being more humble, you know, and apologetic, you know,
Yeah.
to the guy who has all the power. So that kind of like, to me, you know, made me like, what, you know, you talking shit to this motherfucker and he got the gun, the electric stick, you know.
Right. He went out. He went in on him. He had the gun, the stick. He was really giving it to him. And then he put him under the pressure. He said, look, you know, if you can't figure out who I am, you know, then, you know, you ain't the guy for me. I need somebody, I guess, you know, who's smart enough to figure this out. And at the last minute before, I guess he's planning to shoot Leon, Franklin blurts out, "You're the Connect. You're the Connect."
Yeah, yeah. You know, Hollywood, baby.
That's kind of what saves him, I guess.
Yeah.
So then they get to talking, and Franklin, you know, says, "Look, man, I'll take 10 keys a week." You know, first he started at 1 or 2, and Teddy was like, "Man, that ain't gonna do nothing for me. If you want to take Aubrey's spot," and he's like, "All right, well, 10 keys a week." So Franklin's really, you know, he's got a lot of pressure on him now, making that deal. He did get the better price that he was looking for. He got the 10,000 a kilo instead of whatever 12, 13,
And
whatever
I would have loved
aliased.
to. One of the things I would have loved to know the dates. You know, we already know. I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, the numbers. You're not gonna get no 10,000 a kilo doing no 10 keys a week. No, you're not gonna do it. You
Right.
know, when I started getting my keys for 10,000, I was doing 200 or 300 a week. You know, you got to be doing numbers, and I had cash money. So you know, when they talking those numbers, even though I don't know what year it is, you know, I know it as the years went on, it got easier and the keys got cheaper. Uh, but I don't see anybody being able to go and buy 10 keys, you know, at 10,000 a piece. I think that number is too low.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so nevertheless, they, you know, they become cool. He lets them go, puts the hood over their heads so they can't see where they're at. And then, you know, Franklin asking all these questions, and Teddy or Reed Thompson, as he tells him his name is. In the end, I guess they drop Leon off, and he takes Franklin out to the airstrip to show him the plane. And when they find out, when his brother finds out that Franklin's never even been on a plane, he's like, "Oh man!" And he, you know, takes him on this joyride on the plane. So
Franklin gets his first plane ride.
right, right, all right. Do you remember when the first time you got on a plane was?
Ooh, I was young though. Mom took me on a plane when I was young. I used to fly though. You know, I used to go take flying lessons. So I was flying those little planes like they're on right there.
Mm-hmm.
out over at Hawthorne. I think I started doing that around 80, 85, 86. I was bored, nothing to do. And one day I was riding down 120th by the Hawthorne Airport, and I see this sign say flying lessons. I think it was like $300, and I was like, "What? $300? Let me go see what they talking about."
Right.
So I went over and I started taking lessons. Man, I was ready to start soloing, and I didn't have the courage to solo.
Nah.
I could go, but I was like, I don't know if I want to go up by myself yet.
Right.
Then you got to solo. In order to get your license, you have to solo. Something I might go do now. I might go back and start.
I'm about to ask you that. Would you want to get back on that, man?
Because it's some great. Flying in those little planes is it's different, man. It's like being free. You up over everything, and
right.
You just floating through the air, and you can open your window, and it's a different feeling. I haven't done it in a long time. Like I said, I haven't done it since like 85, 86.
Right.
But my memories of it is a great time.
Yeah, I've never been on a small plane like that. I've been in a helicopter, which is a little bit like that, but not the same as being on one of them planes.
Well, those they say are safer than the big planes. Because you can turn the motor off, man. That thing will stay up there and float just float through the air like a glider.
Right. Right.
You can just float around, man. We used to turn the motor off, because that's part of your training is turning the motor off and gliding it around and keeping it in the air. And it's something, man. It's something that you got. Well, when I get my plane, we'll go up.
That's what I'm about to say. I'm ready, man. Just come scoop me up. I want to take a ride with you, man. I definitely want to experience that because it sounds like an amazing experience.
Yes, it is, man.
Yeah.
What was next in the show?
Well, everybody was, of course, worried about Franklin and Leon, Jerome and, Louis and everything's, they're all worried trying to find him. Jerome goes by Franklin's mom's house looking for him. She's there. He's kind of surprised. He plays it off. But, we're starting to see what's going on with his mom.
She know he's selling cocaine now too.
She does.
How did she find that out?
I mean, what she said when he went to see her, try to tell her about his day, this crazy day he had. He was all excited, I guess, and wanted to go see his mom. And she said something.
I imagine so. If you think you're going to die, you want to go see the ones you love the most, right. Damn, I almost was never going to see you again.
Right.
And I know being tied up, you know what I'm saying? There's no way you're going to be tied up in a basement and not think that you may die.
Right.
That got to go through your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I can only imagine, what the fuck am I doing here, in the dungeon?
All right. So, his mom said something like, she's seen all the fancy cars and stuff outside of Jerome's and, more people. And she knows that there's something bigger that he's involved with. But, so I guess that's how she figured it out. But she's still pissed, he wants to come in and talk to her. And she closed the door in his face and said, no, until you, clean up, you can't come back, that type of thing.
Yeah. So, I know that feeling. My mom put me out when she found out I was selling cocaine. She said, "Oh, you got to get out of here.
Yeah,
can't stay here, boy." Yeah, so I kind of know how that is. But my mom didn't go to that extreme. I still could come by the house and stash my money at the house and stuff like that. There, she never stopped me from doing that. I don't know what I would have did if I wouldn't have had her house as my stash spot. Would have put my money in a lot greater danger. So,
did you lose any other relationships or give up any other relationships, in those days because of what you were doing?
No, not really. Nobody else really because you remember when I started, it was still early, Dave. Nobody really understood the addiction of crack. This is still early before they really understood the addiction. So most people looked at it almost like smoking weed, like no big deal. It was only after, like even my aunties, I had a couple cousins that was using it, and my aunties really didn't trip. But after these years started to pass, they started to blame me for their kids being on drugs.
Mm.
So we had those type of conversations where they would come and be like, "You give my daughter drugs," and I'd be like, "No, hold up, your daughter taught me how to sell drugs." You know what I'm saying? She was in the game before I was. Just that we took different roads to basically the same end in the long run.
Got it.
What about what's her name getting killed? The cousin got killed, remember? And after Jerome had told him don't be over there selling to the Mexicans, and they killed one of them.
Oh, you talking about when Kevin's guys, the two young dealers, get stabbed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. So yeah, just backing it up a little bit. At the end of the last episode, we were talking about this last week. Lucia was holding that little bag of crack rocks, and we were trying to figure out, well, where did she get that from? So apparently they got word that there was some guys selling this in one of the Mexican neighborhoods, and she had been by to buy some, I guess, to check it out. So I guess that's how she learned about it, because what we see in episode 2 is she pulls up on the two young guys out there, and she says, "Hey, I want you to introduce me to your boss. She gives him a card. I'm Lucia Villanueva, and if you can tell them, I want to buy wholesale from them." And you were talking earlier today about how you usually pay for the connect. So she bought out $250 worth of rocks that they had left and said, "Here's an extra $50 for your time, but go talk to your boss and tell him I want to meet him." So seems like she's gonna get the connect for about $300.
Much easier than Teddy.
Right.
And Teddy went through a whole lot more to get his connect than she did. She got it really cheap.
Definitely.
Which I don't totally agree with that as well. Sometimes, we have step-up programs. I used to have a step-up program where you would go to one house if you was going to buy, smoking dope. And then if you was a hustler and they saw you enough, then they would elevate you to another one. But I would definitely have to run an investigation. Who you know, or how long you've been knowing her, how long she been coming by buying. Is she a smoker? It's just certain things that you have to run to make sure that you're going to allow her to come into the fold like that.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see next week how that plays out.
Yeah. So in terms of getting to how these kids get killed, what I noticed was, Lucia and Oso, they went to go see their first big, gang connect, the Mexican gang dude, Stomper, who they had been saying last episode that they were cutting him out. Remember they went to another group to present the crack deal to, but they go to see Stomper, and they're telling him, "Oh, we got a load coming in a few days." I guess I don't know if they're talking about the rocks or the powder, but Stomper's like, and they tell him, "Oh, we're not going to pay the tax no more." And he's like, that tax is going to stay, or we're going to let the street know that we're the ones that killed your family. And Stomper asked them, "Well, where did you guys get this crack rock from?" And I forget if it was Oso or Lucia, but he said, "Yeah, there was a couple of black guys," or they used that derogatory term we were talking about earlier, the M word in Spanish, and said, yeah, there was a couple black guys at Pico Union that were selling it, and that's where they got it from. So that's how Stomper and his people figured, oh man, there's some black dudes in my neighborhood out here selling,
making money.
Right. And so
that's a no-no. That's a no-no.
Right. So he ended up setting his boy that was sitting there with him was the one who rode up on them and basically stabbed them both to death. I'm assuming they died. We haven't seen for sure, but
no, one of them died. We saw in there. I think they showed where. Remember, the cousin was coming back, and or maybe that might have been in the previews of the next one.
Yeah.
But I thought they came in and and got Jerome and all of them, and they was getting guns. And
I think that's probably something we're going to see next week because he definitely slit their throats pretty bad. He stabbed the one guy up pretty good and then slit the other dude's throat when he tried to shoot him. So that was pretty crazy. And also remember when they showed up at the house, the two young dudes showed up at Jerome's house and he's like, what the fuck are y'all doing here? And they're like, hey, this lady, here's her card. She bought out everything and she's going to make us millionaires and da-da-da. And then Jerome found out that they were selling in the Mexican neighborhood and he was pissed. He was like, what the hell? I told you guys don't go in that neighborhood. He knew that was going to be a problem. He's like, man, I told y'all, well, they there's a demand. Nobody else is selling it over there. And these are Kevin's people and Kevin's trying to defend them. But Jerome's like, man, you guys better stop doing that. That's not cool. And sure enough, we see what happened. So talk a little bit about that. I mean, how divided was the Black and the Mexican communities in those days and crossing over those lines? And did you end up, doing business in the Mexican neighborhoods as well?
Not really. It's pretty taboo. We know that it's been a long thing with Blacks and Mexicans here in Los Angeles where they just don't really get along. I mean, there's some that that we can have relationships with, but for the most part, even in jail, like a Mexican can't stay in a black cell with a black guy. They can stay in the cell with a white guy, but they can't stay in with a black guy. And and I thought about that. I don't know what happened down history. Where there's such hatred. For blacks with the Mexican gangs, but they definitely have that mentality that they don't want blacks, in their territory or in their spaces. So that would have been normal, yeah. And I wouldn't have crossed those lines. Um, I don't know. They allow some people to cross the lines a little bit, though. Like with me, I was able to cross the lines, in prison a little bit. But for the most part, it's kind of taboo, where you don't cross those lines.
Yeah. The last thing really that's important in this episode that we didn't get back to is Pedro. And, we talked about how Pedro reappeared at the end of last week. And they're wondering, like, because they thought this guy was going to be pissed. His dad got murdered. And, they didn't know what he was going to do. So he comes back and he has this story about how he ran and he was, in Texas somewhere and at a bar and he meets a woman who's changed his life and she takes him out to these ancient fields or something like that, where the Indians or the Mayans or somebody, supposedly were, and she's, turning his life around and they're going to get married. He tells his cousin. So at first they think he's just back because he says, they ask him, well, what do you want? What are you doing here? And he says he wants to get his money, his inheritance. And she said, cool, we'll get you that money in the next, couple of days. But, they don't really want him to be involved and they think he's going to take off. But he brings his woman over, have dinner over the house to meet her. And, he tells Lucia, that he's told her everything. I'm going to marry this woman, so I got to tell her everything. She knows everything about me and what we do. And, Lucia is a little skeptical of that. You just met this woman a few months ago, and, you're telling her all the business. That seems a little bit risky. So that's kind of interesting to see, where that goes, because that seems.
Yeah, but then he said he wants to be back part of the business as well.
Right.
Yeah, he wants to be back in. He wants to run things. And I know that's not going to sit well with Lucille. She doesn't feel that he's earned that position, or he gave that position up, with some of his moves that he made. So definitely going to be something interesting to see how that turns out.
Right. And I was still a little confused about, does he know who killed his dad? Like, he's talking about it, obviously, and he said
that was interesting. Did he find? I was thinking the same thing. Does he know Lucille and them set that up, or did he think somebody else just came in and he just took off so fast that he never cared who it was that killed him? He was just happy that he didn't get killed.
Right. He did say, like, when they asked him, what he was doing, he said, yeah, he admitted that he was scared, and he said something like, I thought you guys, like, were coming after me next, type of thing. So that leads me to believe he does know, but he never addresses it. It's never like, why'd you kill my dad, or why did you, he just doesn't seem to be too preoccupied with that. Yeah, which is a little bit strange. But we'll see if there's any more to that we learn as we go forward. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Oso and Lucia deal with him and his desire to, get back in business with them, and this new woman that they're a little bit skeptical of.
Absolutely. I totally agree. So next week episode is probably going to be more exciting than this one. This one only had a couple highlights in it, but I'm sure next week, they'll answer some of these questions that we're looking for.
Definitely. All right. Well, cool. Well, yeah, this is another good talk. Another good episode after the snow. The podcast. We're on Breakbeat Media. You can find us, on all the podcast apps, and you can also watch us on the Breakbeat Media YouTube channel if you're listening and want to see what me and Rick look like. You can go to Breakbeat Media YouTube, and you can watch us there as well. And if you're watching us already on YouTube, it's good to see y'all. And thank you guys for coming back. And we'll be back next week with another episode. Yeah.
Appreciate y'all. Tell a friend. Check us out. After the snow. Break beats.
Peace.